What's going on, Claudio? Is it just you or the other guys there, or am I just talking to Claudio?
Oh, yeah, it's just me.
Okay. Now, first off, before we do this interview, I need to let you know that I am a major fan, and I'm probably going to nerd out just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I have, like, signed vinyls. I have your graphic novels. I follow the Amory Wars. I'm a big fan, and it's my pleasure talking with you today.
Oh, well, thanks. It's very nice of you to say, Dustin.
Okay. Now, your last release was a double album that came out in two parts, the Afterman Ascension and Descension.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you did this, you brought back Josh on the drums and a new guy, Zach, to play bass. What was that process like with integrating these two new parts to your band and doing this double album?
You know, it was pretty seamless. I mean, you know, having Josh return just felt very comfortable. I mean, Josh being the original drummer, the original foundation of the group, you know, in terms of the groove and things like that. I mean, it just felt natural, you know. So that was just like it felt like a return to form. So that in itself was very easy. You know, Zach at first was very timid, kind of shy, and that's sort of what attracted me to him. I almost saw myself in his position. And as we started working and constructing these tunes, the more he started to flourish and become comfortable in the scenario. So it really it felt like a very seamless, you know, just sort of movement. You know, it didn't feel that difficult. It wasn't very stressful. It was very relaxing, very easy, and that's pretty much it.
So that was kind of the natural course of things. It just kind of flowed.
Yeah, very much.
Now, tell me, what made you decide to do the prequel to the Amory Wars saga in a two-part release as opposed to a one-part?
You know, I chose that because as a comic book author, you know, I very much deal with the idea of the cliffhanger and that serial sort of storytelling, and I kind of felt like Ascension sort of posed in a strange way the idea of a sonic cliffhanger. So that's sort of why I split them up. The reason I went back to tell the story of Cyrus was just because with the last record, I sort of concluded the stories of Coheed and Cambria, and I just wasn't sure where to go. And once I was finished sort of writing the material, I realized, you know, well, we never really told the story of the namesake of the mythology. We always sort of hinted at him in the pre-existing stories, and he has such a big role in why there are the wars. So why not go and sort of tell his story, and that's sort of what brought me on the path of the Afterman.
Now, has Coheed and Cambria, have you experienced any difficulties in being so heavily based on a concept or a series of concepts for your band as opposed to being a traditional band?
No, not so much. I mean, certainly there's more work to do, because, you know, with the concept, you know, I like to adapt these things into whether it be like standard prose or graphic novels. You know, but that to me exercises a part of my creativity that I don't necessarily get, you know, when I'm writing music. So for me, it doesn't feel like a burden, I guess, to put it sort of in a darker way. I mean, it feels really more of a release. It allows me to really explore other sides of my creativity, and I look forward to that with every record. You know, so yeah.
Right. Now, we've had this amazing story of the Amory Wars laid out for us through lyrics and music, and then, you know, you left it to the fans to kind of figure that out until you started doing your graphic novel and comic work.
Yes.
Now, can we expect something similar to happen with the Afterman series?
You know, sort of. I mean, with the Afterman, I decided, you know, I wanted to give the story to the fans, and with the deluxe edition, we released, you know, for each song, sort of what their position and place was in terms of the concept. You know, it wasn't finalized, but it was more like a Cliff Notes sort of version, you know, or an outline of what I've been working with when I start to actually put it all together and really detail it. So in a way, I definitely gave some of the ideas away, but it's also sort of there for the fans to utilize their, you know, imaginations and kind of have room to interpret what they might feel is going to happen. But it's not so open-ended as Second Stage was, or In Keeping when those records came out.
Now, I know that there's been some rumblings of a possible Coheed and Cambria Amory Wars movie. Is this still hush hush, or is this something that you want to release?
It's still hush hush. I mean, we're still like sort of working on all the details and getting the right people into the positions that they need to be in to make this thing become a reality. But it's such a big mythology. It's so dense, and the idea of it being multiple parts. I mean, it's a big undertaking. I didn't realize that when I created it, that it would be so almost intimidating.
Right.
So I mean, it's going to require time, I think.
Now, just a couple personal questions I have here for you. What kind of dog is Apollo?
Apollo is supposed to be an albino Doberman.
Okay.
And I know in some of the colors were kind of mishandled in the Second Stage edition, where he sort of turns out to be a Dalmatian. But I think in Keeping Secrets, it's probably the closer interpretation of what he's supposed to be. Both that and Good Apollo, the graphic novel, they both have him as an albino Doberman, which is correct.
Right.
So it's kind of cool in a way that Second Stage sort of has this odd dog that's like not the right color, but it's like a cool little thing I guess you could pick out if you're a real diehard.
That was something that I noticed and I was kind of curious about. And then also, I'm personally getting married in October of 2014. Now, would Wake Up, is that a good song for a wedding, you think, or is that not so much?
I think it's a great song. My wife actually walked down the aisle to it.
Okay. Yeah, see, my fiance, Christy, she likes that song. I'm in love with that song. And that's what we were thinking, but I wanted to ask you, just to be sure that was a good choice.
Yes, I definitely think it's a good choice. I get, it's very common, that gets chosen, or I'm told that gets chosen. And like I said, my wife, she walked down the aisle to it. So, that song is a very, very special song for me, and certainly for our relationship. And I think any relationship, I think the lyrics, anyone, in the position, such as about to get married, I think everyone sort of can relate to. So I think it's a great choice.
Okay, so I could tell you then that's a good choice. Thank you so much. Listen, Claudio, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. I will be there tomorrow, rocking out, singing every single lyric to your songs. I saw you last time you were in Philly. I know you did the double show down there 2 days in a row. So I look forward to it, and I look forward to hearing you tomorrow night up at Uproar. Thank you so much, Claudio.
Oh, you got it, Dustin. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too, brother.